Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Jamison Webster, of course, the head boys basketball coach at Tecumseh High School. How's it going?
Good, Casey. Thank you for having me this afternoon.
All right. Of course, congrats on the big win last night. Well, you got to see a game, so might as well start with this. What did you? Are you more comfortable now that you have a game in with what you like about your team?
Yeah, I was. We were really looking forward to opening up last night as a coaching staff, just to kind of see and be able to measure where we were as a program. Bringing back as many guys as we did from last year's roster, the top 8 in rotation, and a lot of those being seniors this year. We knew we would have the experience and the leadership for the potential to have a really good team this season. So we were, as a coaching staff, really eager to see where we were game one. We had a couple really good productive scrimmages in the last couple weeks leading up to last night. And I think that those successful scrimmages just kind of helped us carry the good things that we were doing right over into last night's game and continue to do those things. And it was good to see opening night like that.
All right. So let's talk about some of the guys that are returning for your team, that returned for your team this year.
Yeah, so obviously our focal point rider is Zajac. He had the biggest year for us last year, both points per game and rebounds per game. He's kind of going to be the guy we go to offensively all season. But we also bring back a 6'3" senior, Joe Ben Scooter, along with another 6'3" senior, Brennan Cross. You know, the kind of cool thing about both those guys is last year, it's almost like this year we transferred both those guys in because Cross was out all last year with shoulder surgery. And Ben Scooter only played the first 5 games. He broke his collarbone. So we went through the whole SEC last year without either of those guys. We're fortunate enough to win it. And, you know, we bring back everybody else. Plus, we plug those 2 bigs into the rotation. And, you know, we bring back a lot. So the backcourt, we have Grant Mossberg and David Hunt, both seniors that have tons of quality minutes on the varsity. Both were up as sophomores. We got a wing and Gavin Chenevy, 2-year starter for us, another senior. We got Drew Wiedike coming back. He's battling a knee injury right now, but we're hoping to have him back towards the end of the season. He's another senior. And Jared Alcock, he rounds out the final list of seniors for us, who's just kind of a guy that comes in off the bench, does all the dirty work, role type player. The rest of the roster, we have a Ryan Mossberg. He got pulled up halfway through the season last year as a freshman. He's a sophomore this year. We're looking for him to really come off the bench and provide that scoring punch for us. He's a capable scorer, really good shooter from the outside. And then we got some juniors, Diego Juarez. He's going to be a backup point guard for Grant. You know, really doing a good job so far this year, controlling the tempo when he does get in those first couple scrimmages in the first game. I thought he put a lot of really good ball pressure on Airport's point guard last night that kind of created havoc and some early turnovers that helped us. And then we got Max Danley, Ryan Berry, Mason Tuberville. Those are other juniors for us that are just kind of going to be guys that fill in different areas. And I think one of the things about this year's team that we have is a lot of depth in years past that we may not have had, to where if we do, you know, along the 22-game season run into some kind of foul trouble, we have enough depth at each position to where we should be able to fill in the spots and be able to get through that foul situation.
Yeah, I know a lot of the names you just said there. If you followed Tecumseh, a lot of those names should sound very familiar to you. Obviously, some big contributors to this year's football team as well. So, going into the rest of the season, going into this season, now that you have a game under you, where do you guys think you're at right now?
You know, honestly, I think as a coaching staff, I think we're ahead of where we expected to be. Like I've told the group, we've been really pleased with what we've seen so far with the limited number of practices that we've had just due to the shortened season and the 2 extra games thrown in. But I think with this group, you know, all year long, it's just going to be consistently working on the little things. I think, this group does a lot of really good things and has the potential to be a great group. But I keep telling them each and every day, we got to keep getting really good at the little things, and the big things will take care of themselves. And it's a group that just kind of keeps their head down, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And as a group just wants to continue to push and get better each and every day.
Yeah. So let's talk about the rest of the slate for December. What do you guys got?
So we got a holiday tournament at the very end, but this Friday we host actually the first 5 games. We're fortunate to be home the first 5. So we go this Friday, home Ann Arbor Green Hills. Next Tuesday, the 13th, home against Milan. And then we're off for a week, and we come back home the 20th and 22nd, home against Parma Western, and then home against Bedford. And then our first away game is going to be the 30th at the Airport Classic, and we play Dearborn Technology.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty stout schedule for sure. But yeah, you come in and you've been at the helm for a good, I think this is second or third.
This is my fourth year.
Yeah, I knew it was, I think it was right around the third or fourth year. But overall, how have you kind of seen? Because so now you've seen every class. Every class has been through you since you've taken over. What have you seen since you took over?
I mean, I think just the overall camaraderie between all programs. I think we really have a good chemistry. I have a very good coaching staff all the way down to the middle school levels, to where, we meet before each season gets going to make sure we're on the same page. And I kind of give out my expectations and different things I want them doing with those kids all the way down to those levels. And I think it just translates all the way up to the varsity level. But the 2 things that we ask all of our kids is just come with a consistent, great effort and great attitude. And if we can, I think we've really honed in and focused on doing the things that we can control, and allowing the things that are out of our control just to kind of let happen. And, I think when anybody comes and watches us, one of the first things they'll be able to see is, that all of our teams just kind of get after it and play extremely hard and play for one another. And that's something that us as the coaching staff is really proud of, and happy that we've kind of molded here at Tecumseh.
Yeah. And also I know that, the advantage is to have those 5 games at home before the calendar shifts to 2023. Not many teams have that. I mean, I've heard of teams that may only have 1 or none this month since they're all on the road. But overall, what do you want to see out of this out of these next few games before we get to 2023?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, and we talked about this, is we have 6 or 7 games before we open up league play at Adrian on the 13th of January. So, we told the guys, with the limited time we've had, we don't have everything in now, and that's okay. We got plenty of time. We're using these first 6 or 7 games to just continue to get better, put a little bit more in, and not throw too much at them, but keep focusing on the small details of the things we have in, really get good at those things. And once we've gotten to the point where we think we can, throw a little wrinkle in or add extra stuff into what we already have, then we'll put that in. But, I think the biggest thing is we're just trying to focus on getting better each and every day at the things that we're trying to do as a ball club, both on the offensive side and defensive side, and just kind of have everything ready and in that we want to have in by January 13th, starting league play.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jamison, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck this season to you guys.
All right, Casey, I appreciate you having me. Have a good rest of the afternoon, and take care.